apparently.
So we see main board
Lone Mage's Binding. I saw that one as well. That seems very interesting.
2 negates, 3 quench, 4 syncopates. Bam!
And 4 Ixalan's Binding as well, which is
binding.
extreme. Oh, yeah. So we've got Pyromancer. So that's 2 to the face. So, I mean, Alan's hand seems sort of standard. It's mono red hand.
Yeah. Alan is not playing what many consider to be an optimal mono red list.
Right, because he's playing sort of the typical, the older version of Rekindling Phoenix and such.
Yeah, and I think he also still has the...
No, he's kicked those out, I think. He's kicked out the electrostatic fields.
Yeah, so he has Lightning Strike, Flame of Kelt... Oh, Light Up the Stage... Yeah, so he has updated to Flame of Kelt plus Light Up the Stage.
Yeah.
Which many agree now is the better version.
Yeah.
Okay. Oof! Rekindling Phoenix gets quenched.
Also, sort of I think what's very interesting about some of the times as well as the Niv Mizzet, because in Jeskai you can keep countering, but if you don't have something to swing that control favor in your direction, you can still lose quite easily, I think. Yep. That's one of the nice things about the ability to play Gates Ablaze, is you can play something quite powerful like Niv Mizzet, which can close out the game even quicker.
Sure.
If you're a control player.
Yeah. Because against these decks, it's really important to actually seal the game at some point.
Because,
Now, here we see Alan attacking with only 1 creature.
Probably Settle. Playing around Settle. Because he was...
do you take that
I wouldn't do that.
Here?
I probably wouldn't do that.
No, me neither.
Because you can see he has the Gates Ablaze... he has like the Gates Ablaze configuration, because he's playing 4 different gates. He's playing 3 different gates. So he's probably not playing any of the big board clears in them as well.
Yeah. So he's actually playing Teferi Dream Eater, Search for Ascanta, and Niv Mizzet Parum.
Yeah. Dream Eater, very interesting, obviously. Interesting quench here, just sort of to make sure...
it's to stop the next spell from happening. And still Sander scoops them up, unable to stop the mono-red onslaught.
boy.
We're going to his sideboard now, and we see some extra bullets here. So we see 3 Revitalize, we see 2 Healing Graces, we see...
A Faring Duelist, which I've
Fairy
seen.
Duelist
I've seen him bring it in against mono red before.
I mean, why wouldn't you? It fixes one of your problems, which is like one of the 2 ones coming in.
Right. The only issue with Fairy Duelist to me is if it gets shocked in response. Because then you've just eaten a shock for 2 mana. Which is not terrible, but it's not as great as, say...
Yeah, and you're healing 2 life of it.
Yeah, but it's not. It's never bad, but it's not amazing like Healing Grace, which just
Healing Grace is insane.
Just absolutely insane.
Healing Grace,
my favorite cards in all of Gentry, I think.
So against mono red, this card reads: counter target spell, counter the next spell.
Yeah, it's an absorb for 1 mana.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. In the meantime, let's see what the stream is saying. Sander is totes playing Grixis. Ooh, no. Grixis has fallen to the wayside because of exactly this card and Revitalize. Grixis is not as good against mono red, even with
Moment
of Craving as your life gain removal option.
I actually do like Dual Shot, by the way. I don't know if Sander has it in the side, but I think it's actually quite an interesting card against mono red, because usually they side out the 2 toughness ones, like the wizard dudes.
The Gitu Lava Runners?
The Lava Runners.
Yeah. So what is Alan bringing in? He has Deface. I don't think that's coming in. That's the can't block thingy, right?
Yeah. No, it's this one. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. So Shivan Fire, no. Act of Treason, probably not. Even though Sander might be bringing in Gate Colossus. I don't think that's good enough.
I noticed that it's Gate Colossus on the side. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he realized he had uncommon slots left. I know how that feels. So Bombard, that's not doing anything. Burning Tree Vandal, though. That's the one that can't block, right?
It's like,
No, it's the
like
looter.
Oh, it's loots, It's
the looter. And then Radiating Lightning is the token slaying card of choice. Also doesn't really do anything. So is he bringing in Burning Tree Vandal as a card selection for late game?
Yeah. I don't know. That's the hard thing about siding with mono red is you're just kind of slowing it down. Whereas I think there is an argument to be made for just trying to keep the curve as low as possible, and just sort of rely on them maybe not having the right opening hand.
In the meantime, the chat has a discussion about Jeskai versus Grixis, who is the greater control deck. And while as a control deck, the consensus right now, in Gentry at least, is that Grixis is a stronger control deck, but Jeskai is the better choice because of the dynamic against mono red. I mean, we've already seen here just how brutal mono red can be, and mono black just doesn't have the tools. I mean, sure, you have Duress, but Duress is going 1-for-1, where the Healing Grace 2-for-1s them pretty much. And here we have a Syncopate taking care of a Viashino Pyromancer. We get 2 cool art.
Yeah, nice ones.
And another Viashino Pyromancer.
This one does get through.
Oh, it's not a Vishino. Viashino. And what was that? Skewer the Critics on got Pyroed again?
So Skewer, and I think that got countered, right?
Yeah, Syncopated. And then we have the Shivan Fire to take care of the Viashino Pyromancer. So we're in a way better position for Sander here. Going into the mid game, we have Radiating Lightning.
Yeah, so that's an interesting. So this is something that Alan brings in a lot against me when I'm playing Jeskai, because or at least I used to play the Murmuring Mystics. So then Radiated Lightning is just a really good card because you burn for 3 and you clear the birds.
But there's no Murmuring Mystics.
No Murmuring Mystic in Sander. So
maybe he expected them because it's such a ubiquitous card in these decks.
Exactly. So I'm thinking he thought Sander was playing Mystic.
Lightning Strike went face. We're still deep in the mid game with Sander in double digits. Light up the stage for Alan. Got syncopated. Syncopated. Syncopate. No, that's not it. And we have Flame of Kelt. So with Flame of Kelt and Light Up the Stage, we have this really interesting dynamic. Oh, and Alan also is holding the Wrist Factor. That has that really determines card advantage dynamics for these decks. Fnatic Firebrand, very nice with that Flame of Kelt 3rd chapter.
Yeah.
Turns it into Bolt-on with little feet. Risk Factor here. So another one of those tools that generate pain or problem.
It's one, The interesting thing about mono red matchup as well is you kind of always playing this game where you want to counter everything all the time from turn 2 on. But at the same time, there are some things that you want to sort of match, right? You prefer to syncopate Risk Factor over Quench it, or like you have these little interactions like that.
So Risk Factor just did 6 damage, followed by a 5 damage Skewer.
But he's got the Healing Grace, so
but he doesn't have white mana.
Well, he does now. I think that's an Azorius Guildgate, right? This one?
Is it?
I think that's an Azorius Guildgate.
The people don't see where you point.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Fail sound. Okay.
Do you guys know, you can't hear the soundboard on this end, so I don't know what he's making sound.
You can put on the headset if you want.
Yeah.
You can hear the soundboard as well.
Then I would really look like a Twitch streamer. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet.
Ow.
I don't have it in me yet, I think.
Okay. So Alan thinks he just needs 1 point of damage right now. And
oof.
so so we have shock in response to what the blah 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 insight. I always forget. Chemist's insight.
The blah 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 insight.
That got healing graced, effectively countering the shock, putting Sander back on 4.
Interesting. Has he already flashed back the damn it, the deal for or draw 3? What's it called again?
Chemist's insight?
No, Alan. Has he?
The risk factor?
The risk
yes.
factor. Because the interesting thing about healing, bracing, and shock is obviously it put Sander to 4, which is in range of. But that's already relevant. Oh, he already did. Okay.
Okay, and we have. What's the name of the addendum? Sphinx's insight. All these insights.
Yeah. So Sphinx's insight is actually a really interesting card because I haven't seen it used too much before because generally Chemist's insight is the best insight.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna get an insight, you want the Chemist's insight, not the Sphinx's insight.
Fair enough. Yeah, Sander is playing 4 and 2 of the Sphinx's insights.
Yeah. So interesting. So spell pierce. So technically, you couldn't get burned down at the moment. It's
No,
still
Sander
possible.
is an even what?
No, it's,
Oh, it's a discard
Yeah, it's a
for
discard,
the. I was like, what are you doing?
I did.
He's gone mad.
I make the same mistake. I do this all the time. I'm just chucking lands in the graveyards and people don't get why.
So they're jump starting the Chemist's insight.
Yeah.
For those of you wondering what was going on there.
Het is hier gezellig beneden. Yeah. Yeah, eight's a bit hard to get through. But when he was at 6, I thought Alan could still sort of claw back in because 6 is still 2 burn spells. But
It's very interesting to me that even though we had this stage where the mid game started, right, and then Sander went to 1, and now we're at the point where Sander is holding 8 cards, is discarding, is on 8 life again. Against a Alan who what's he doing right now? I mean, he's stockpiling burn spells, hoping to flurry as soon as Sander steps out somewhere.
Yeah.
Because at some point Sander needs to try and win the game, and it's when that Nif Mizzet gets cast or the Dream Eater or the Teferi, you just want to go and hope you still get through as the mono red deck.
Exactly.
Oh, hard casting a light up the stage here.
I think I actually quite like this because Sander doesn't quite want to counter this. Yeah. Sort of a little card that could.
So what did he get?
A
land and a skewer.
And a skewer.
Alrighty. So Viashino again.
Yeah.
Oh, all my typos are in the history now. Gets essence scattered. And in response we get the skewer.
This is interesting. So it's gonna
which gets syncopated.
That's kind of interesting. But I'm sure he's got like a quench or something up his hand.
So nothing actually came through here. And now we have another Chemist's Insight.
I think keeping up the spell pierce mana as well. So
very important. Spell pierce mana.
Yeah.
Sander should have this game. I think you are correct, chat. In the meantime, you guys are, according to my metrics, with 42 spectators, just 21 or 11, I don't remember, short of our previous record of 6 months ago. So if you have any friends that might be interested in Gentry or are just nerds who need to do something on a Sunday afternoon, just send them the link. I mean,
see what happens.
What can nothing can go wrong. Just don't worry. Okay, as we are here going through the motions, and this time it is Alan just sitting there, Ramos style.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're done now. This is...
If Mizzet hits the board... Wrong button.
He's stockpiling a bunch of canisters, a bunch of
there's
flames of cans as well.
20 points of burn in his hand easily, but are they ever going to hit? So he has another window here where Sander merely sadly has just 8 mana available after casting his 6-drop. It's now or never, because after this Sander is just going to
or even
have a pick of the litter.
The great thing that Niv Mizzet allows you to do in the mono red matchup, which I've personally done and very much enjoyed, is you can just start counter burning. Once they start burning your face, you can just in response with all the Niv Mizzet triggers sort of raise the gain down very quickly. Yeah. And like start syncopating things for 0 mana just to get in the extra damage and draw.
Yeah. So Wizard's Lightning went to the face. Connected. Another typo into the history. I think I'm gonna start an incognito window to start over.
It's a nice overlay you got going on here, Niels.
Thank you.
Well done.
Now you see how it looks
from
my side.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's very different.
Yeah.
To realize people only see the little square over there.
Okay. I'm also liking the play. You didn't use the playmat last time, I think.
It's new. I only got it last month. Yeah.
Okay. So let's theorize. How do you get out of this if you're Alan?
If you're Alan, you're just waiting for your... Wait, he's actually casting it?
Yeah, but he's not...
What?
I mean, can you cast an Ixalan's Binding without a target?
An opponent controls, so yes,
okay,
you can.
Yeah,
so Radiating Lightning.
I really want to hear why he cast that Ixalan's Binding. I guess if you don't have... I'm thinking. If you're going to discard it anyway, you have the mana, you can cast it, and then you can blink it. Does he have blink? Because he could blink it back to his hand and then recast it later, maybe.
He does not have blink.
Okay, so that's just showing off then.
Sander has gone mad. Okay, the chat knows what's going on.
Yeah.
At least we have some people who realize Quench is being thrown at the Radiating Lightning, for which Alan pays gleefully. Mm-hmm. I think he's going down to 2. Yeah, there we go. Thank God I said that. Phew. Play Blink of an Eye to bounce it, but he doesn't have Blink of an Eye. That's the thing.
Yeah, I thought the same thing with Blink of an Eye, but he doesn't have it. So
So we see Sander dipping down to single burn range.
Yeah.
Again, which I don't like.
Yeah, I'm guessing... it depends, right?
I mean, anything that slips through now kills him.
Yeah. But so... Oh no! I totally get why he played it. Because now he can gain 4 life. It's a great play. I didn't think of it. You can invoke it. That's a great play.
Invoke the Divine.
Yeah.
So we have... there we go.
I've done this, but I've never played the Ixalan's Binding just for that effect. That's great. That's really fucking good.
So Invoke the Divine becomes a counterspell. Shock. Demands an answer again.
And then we have the Healing
And
Grace.
the Healing Grace.
So for those keeping track at home, the Healing Grace has saved Sander twice from loss, from a game loss.
And I see 2 Flames of Kelt in Alan's hand, so he can't, in response, force another answer, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, if the Healing Grace resolves it,
Yeah.
it counters the
Yeah,
next
but-
spell as well. And he targets the Wizard's Lightning to Healing Grace. Just optimizing.
I don't think
And
that's how it works.
yeah,
right?
yeah. He chose to target the Wizard's Lightning and then negated the shock.
No, I just mean Healing Grace targets you, right? It doesn't target a spell. It prevents the next 3
A
damage.
source of your choice.
Oh! I don't read these cards.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Shock earlier. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we get the Flame of Kelt then.
He did need the top deck, but with Niv Mizzet, I mean, your top deck's... It's a big top.
It's a big deck.
That's a big deck.
Love Niv Mizzet. Yeah. Yeah. Niv Mizzet, the big boy, is wrapping it up here. Oof.
Insult to injury.
Have some salt in that wound.
Right. Okay.
I like Sander's basics.
Oh yeah, they're always fancy. Did you guys like the white bordered lands?
Oh, terribly. No, the chat didn't even notice. 42 viewers! We can do this! Alright, we see Alan scooping them up, making this a 1-1 in about less the time than your game 1. But you don't even know yet. We have an extra cable here now because internet went down completely, the Wi-Fi. So we only have like the last third of your game 1 on stream.
The first 2/3 were unseen.
And the first 20% and the last 33% were on
So
stream.
you saw me making the blink of an eye mistake.
Yes.
And then
we
everything
saw
I did
you
to recoup that,
we saw you
try and get back in, that's irrelevant. And then you got back in once they said like
and
a bunch of crap.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then we saw you electro-dominate the murmuring.
At least that was.
Yeah. Which, the 2 turns down could have killed Dace instead. But then he had the Nexus, so it turned out to be the correct play after all. Everyone spread the word on Facebook. Tell your neighbors. Insult to Injury is watching this stream because you can't go outside due to the wind. Alright. Insult to Injury is not legal anymore.
What does insult to injury do?
Insult to Injury is this...
Maybe I remember it, maybe I don't.
It's this split card. It doubles damage and causes you not to be able to prevent.
Oh yeah, it's this one.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. You actually did see some play, right? In like standards and like mono red, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was actually played in Gentry in some of
It's
the mono
Gentry as
red
well?
decks.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I don't think it was correct, but it was played. Can't prevent and double damage.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Let me MySpace this. Whew! Jesus! 2003 called. They want their internet whack.
Yeah.
I had a MySpace.
You had a MySpace?
I had a MySpace.
Was it your space?
Totally MySpace. Was it yours? Okay,
Ooh.
we're off with a shock.
Yeah. Shocker.
I don't like shock. There's too many cards
Shocks.
that have
There's
shocks in
okay.
them.
Yeah.
It's like whenever I have to scroll, it looks so unprofessional.
Right.
on the card viewer.
Yeah. And does Watsy do it themselves? Do you know?
They have. You saw the studio mode thing, where you can edit one and then switch to the next one.
Whoa.
But that's
I get.
too hard to do because that requires me to have 2 sites open and alternate between the 2, and it's If I had a full-time producer to do this, then we'd probably do it like that as well.
Yeah, Niels, I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't think I'll be able to kind of do that.
Yeah. Dreams and hopes crushed.
Yeah.
Okay, Skewer the Critics goes face as well. Takes Sander down to 15.
Okay.
As Sander contemplates his life's decisions. Or just his second land. People are playing Magic. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so what can we see in Sander's hands? Did he maybe yeah. That's true. You want a creature. Sort of interesting. Sander chose to play a tap land there instead of an untap land on his second turn, which I think is sort of interesting if you have Essence Scatter, because you could have countered like a Vaishino Pyromancer or something. But maybe if you figure that Alan didn't play a Pyromancer on 2, then he probably won't play one on 3. I guess that makes sense.
But he used this turn 2 for...
Yeah, for Healing Grace eventually, right? Do you mean Alan?
He used his turn 2 for Shock Skewer.
Yeah.
But now
I mean, just because I think Sander went... Maybe I'm fucking up the sequence here, but I think Sander went tap land turn 1 and then the second tap land on turn 2 instead of an untap land on turn 2. So I was just sort of figuring out why he did that, because he does have an Essence Scatter in his hands, so why wouldn't you want to keep out in that mana?
Fair. So we have a Wizard's Lightning.
This is rough. This is really rough.
That gets answered by the second Healing Ray. Also,
Sander is ahead in life
yes.
to Alan. That's not good.
Also, Sander has 2 Healing Graces.
Oh, Sander. Oh, you're killing me, buddy. Oh, come on.
Got both of them, both games. Which is rough.
Rough, yeah. As my dog would put it. Rough.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistake. Got nowhere to run. The night goes on.
When he gets in here, you should ask him why he plays Revitalize.
I'm sick of this life. I just wanna scream. How could this happen to me?
That's the sound.
Jesus. What are you playing?
How could this happen to me? For both how Alan must feel because of the Healing Graces, and for me to be stuck with you here.
Yeah.
Okay. Pinks is inside. Thank God this is a smart search engine.
Yeah. I mean, Niels, how as a Magic commentator, what do you like most?
What do I like most?
In the sense of, do you enjoy games that are sort of like this, where, I mean...
I enjoy games that are super swingy, where one turn it looks like one person is winning, and then 2 turns later you're like, oh my god, he just top decked the exact needed sequence, and and then the other person wins in the end. That's my favorite. What do I also like? Mid-range clashes, where the board is full and you have big attacks into each other.
Right, so you like,
we actually have Experimental Frenzy getting countered by a Syncopate here. That's pretty relevant as well.
Yes, it was the last card in his hand. And he even played the Phoenix first too.
Yeah, and here is the game ender. The match ender.
Yep.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Mizet Baron hits the board and starts his job.
Honestly, I think Sander knew ahead of time he was going to be playing against mono red, and he built a deck that was very good against mono red, like very good. So this isn't quite a surprise as much, I think. I mean, I'm curious. It's like how. Oh yeah. How can we take in additional turns with Nexus Fate? That's a good question, Niels. I mean, once you're done checking things, because I want to remind people I did not cast a single Nexus of Fate today, so I'm in the clear. It's this you're going to be worried about.
So right now, because of the whole Shenhar stream with the Nexus of Fate things, and we have a handshake.
Oh, there it is.
So Sander takes this one with a Jeskai deck geared, what looks like especially to beat mono red, in rather convincing fashion, even when he was on the draw, which is a big,
it's a big
thing,
difference, right?
with this deck. So, briefly back to, as a caster, do I like it when people take additional turns with Nexus of Fate? I don't mind, as long as the game is progressing. Like, if you have 5 tokens in play, and your opponent is at 11, and you cast your Nexus of Fate, you're like, oh, there we got some nice little tension going on. If the opponent has an unblockable 8/8 and that player is on 5, then the tension is even more there. What don't I like? If you're playing Nexus of Fates as an explorer, then it's just yawn magic. So that's what I feel about it. Sander here flaunting his disgusting sideboard. Boarded out, search for Ascanta.
Yeah, he's got 4 of them. I want board out. Actually, search. I was looking at Exxon's band and I was thinking, search. Yeah, I actually do that as well. I agree. Yeah, because it's a really bad 2-drop.
Fair enough.
So you're gonna be playing it late anyway, and you instead want something early to interact with the board, I think.
No. Okay, so I'll bring in Sander then. Alan, as soon as he passes by, so we can have a short chat about what he feels about his deck. If you want to, you can stay around afterwards, come back and then comment the next match.
If you'll have me, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll wait for Alan actually, and if you don't mind.
Sure. So using Nexus to just play a land and draw a card is boring. Well, yeah, that's what using it as an explorer means.
Yeah.
Not to be cocky
or just in general. If you're gonna just have a win con, if you're playing Nexus, I think that's agreed upon. Just have something to do, and not just like you can play Nexus of Fate. Like Nexus of Fate and Teferi decks only. That's a bit of a dick move.
Somebody sneaking in from the back.
En ik heb de naturalize voor Jens.
Ja. Ja.
Oh, not that bad.
Yo. Hey, dag Alan. Voorzichtig voor de kabel. Voor al de kabels. Oké, Alan. That didn't go so well.
The 2 last games were horrible.
Yes.
Pretty much for mono reds, at least.
We found a way to make you feel worse. Sander only has 2 healing graces.
I know.
You know.
I know.
Okay. When we saw the 2 healing grace and we saw both of them in both sideboarded games that early, we were like, oh my god.
But he draws to it, so yeah.
Yeah, he has a lot of draw spells as well. We saw you winning convincingly in game 1.
Yeah.
That's what mono red does.
So usually, yeah.
Game 2, we saw you getting Sander down to 1 life. Did you feel it tingling then?
I felt it, but I know he had healing grace, he had counterspell, so I had to play around it, but I couldn't, especially after Nif Mizzet was on the board. That's a clock.
Yeah, that's what we saw as well. Not much there to do. Mono red is the kind of deck that loses to the sideboard cards.
Especially, I didn't see. Game 3 saw 2 creatures. That's not enough.
We saw that as well. We saw you bringing in Radiating Lightning.
Yeah.
Is that because you expect him to play Murmuring Mystics, or is it just
the expectation and to be interactive? It's an instant. I board some creatures out to be a bit more interactive.
You board out Gitu Lava Runners?
1 Lava Runner because it has haste. It can be a bit more tricky, and 2 Firebrands, Fanatical Firebrands.
Fanatical Farm. Yes, because without the Flame of Kelt, they're not that exciting.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you very much. We're gonna set up for the next match. You can
Yeah.
enjoy the rest of your day here, or
Yeah, we'll see.
we'll